Welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Workings. Today, we're going to be talking about candle magic. Candle magic is one of my favorite ways to manifest. We can think of it as a tool for manifesting, much like we might think about anything else that we use. So, where some people use herbs or oils to manifest, or might try to dial in manifesting based on phases of the moon or changes in astrology, candle magic works in a very similar way. One of my favorite things about it is you can actually utilize everything I've just mentioned. For example, you can set up a candle on a full moon and do your manifesting or a spell during a full moon or a new moon, depending on if you're trying to bring in energy or dispel energy. See, a full moon is going to be better for bringing in energy, where a new moon is better at getting rid of things that we no longer want. Adding on top of that, of course, astrology can play into that just like phases of the moon. So you can try to determine when a planet is in a specific phase to try to manifest based on that energy. So, for example, Mars is going to be a more powerful masculine energy. So, if you're trying to draw on energy more related to that, then you might want to do so when it's in the sign of, say, Scorpio. Another example might be if we were looking at the sun. Now, the sun is at home in Leo. So, if you're really trying to draw on the energy of the sun, be that more outward energy, more ambition, more power behind everything that you're trying to do, that'd be a good time for that. Now, of course, when you're making a candle, you can always utilize herbs and oils. Personally, I like to build my own candles myself. One of my biggest recommendations would be to go to a dollar store and just pick up some candles. One of the easiest things to do is to simply add oil and herbs on top, doing a little bit of research into what oils do what and what herbs are going to help you with manifesting. Now, ideally, if you're making your own candle, then you'd be mixing the oils and the herbs into the wax. But if you do take the route of buying one at, say, a dollar store, you could always try to heat up a piece of metal, say the points of a knife, or something even longer like a skewer. You could heat it over an oven, and you can stick it into the candle, so that way it actually melts holes into it, at which point you can add in your respective herbs and oils. So to add to that, we can start thinking about the colors of the candle. See, different colors have to do with different energies we're trying to manifest. So for example, you may want to get a green candle if you're trying to manifest money. A black candle is going to be best for dispelling negative energy, and a white candle is best for bringing in energy as a whole. I've also seen people use orange candles for things like career, blue candles for health, and yellow candles for things like success. At the end of the day, the energy that you're putting into your candle is more important than maybe the herbs, oils, or the color of the candle itself. So don't be afraid to use just a simple white candle. But if you are somebody who's interested in the candle magic aspect, then you can start doing a little more research into what colors, oils, herbs, etc. are going to be the best fit for what you're trying to manifest. Now, as an interesting side note, I wanted to point out we all do candle magic every year, whether if you realize it or not, on your birthday. When you blow out your candles and make a wish on your birthday, you're in fact doing candle magic. And it's interesting to think how so many of us have been participating in candle magic, whether if we realize it or not. Now, for my last piece of advice, I would recommend you write on the candle or draw symbols or sigils or other things on the candle to help with manifesting. Now, you could write out specifically what it is that you're trying to manifest or look up symbols and things that kind of go with that. Or you can always write down what you want to manifest on a piece of paper, like I talked about in our last episode on how to manifest. So one possibility would be to write out everything you want to manifest, read it aloud 3 times after you've lit your candle, and then focus that energy into the candle. What I like to do then is fold up that paper and leave it under the candle for as long as you're able to keep it lit. Of course, make sure that you are attending to the candle if it is in a place that it could potentially fall over and start fire. One option would be to leave it in a space such as a kitchen where you may be less worried about it falling over. But if you have to, you can always put out your candle and relight it another day. If you guys are interested to learn more about candle magic, more about herbs used for manifesting or oils used for manifesting, then look down in the description below where I'm going to have some recommended tools, items, and books for you guys to look through. Hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so that way you don't miss any upcoming content. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more on spiritual workings.